Alright, so today we are going to talk about all of the books that I read in April. So let's get started. Now, before we begin, I had my TBR. If you haven't watched that video, go watch that video with my March wrap up in April TBR. I was so excited about that TBR. Like, I was ready to read those books. And then I was going along, reading my books, doing my thing, doing it all. And one day, Jalen and I went to the library. And I ended up picking up like 8 more books. So there's a mix between my books on my TBR and the books that I got from the library in here. But really, I had a good reading month. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of good books again this month, which was exciting. Let's get through all the books that I read so far in April. So the first one is actually a DNF for me. I DNF'd The Nanny by Alana Ferguson. This one had a good premise. It was about a woman who is unexpectedly unemployed, and she has to go be like a live-in nanny for this guy Aiden. And it turns out that he was a subscriber to her OnlyFans account way back in the day. This one, it felt repetitive. It felt like I got 124 pages in, and it felt like nothing had happened, and it's like 400 pages, so I feel like things could have progressed, and I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't in the mood, so I DNF'd it. So we're gonna take the bookmark out. So then we're gonna go to the beginning of April. I don't even know what month we're in. We're gonna go to the beginning of April and go in order now, okay? So the first book I finished in April was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series. This one was a 5-star for me. I loved this book. It was fast-paced. There was action throughout the whole thing. The ending was wild, and it got me so excited for the tandem read, which I'm actually reading now. I'm about 100, 200, 150 pages into both of the books right now. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this one was so good. I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about it just because it's the 5th book in a series, and if I tell you anything, it's going to spoil it, and this is no spoiler, of course. But just know, this was my favorite so far. I really enjoyed this. I flew through this book, and after reading Heir of Fire, which took me forever, this one was so good. I also realized with Heir of Fire, the 4th one, there was a lot of, we got through the first 3, and then there was a whole bunch more world building to prep us for this book, and it's so worth it. Looking back, it's so worth it because this was so good. 5-star. I loved this one. I'm, again, loving the series. I'm scared to finish the series just because I don't know how I'm going to feel, and I don't want to be in a book slump, but so far I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying this. So that's the first book of April. I don't know where to put the books. Every time I have trouble figuring out where to put the books. Then I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the first book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. It's good. It was cute. It's YA, a mystery. So this one is about Avery, and one day she's in high school, and one day she gets this message saying, hey, you've been left into this guy's will, you need to come get your stuff. And she's like, I have no idea who this guy is and why he left me in his will. So she goes over to Texas where he lived. So she has to live in this house with the Hawthorne brothers. There's 4 brothers. And they kind of go on this mystery and solve clues to figure out why their grandpa left Avery all of this stuff. So they kind of go through the book. Throughout the book, they solve different mysteries and different clues, and she gets to know all 4 of the brothers. It was good. I rated this one a 3-star. It was good. It's very YA, and I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood for YA, but I did enjoy it. I will be continuing the series. This one did leave off on a little cliffhanger, and I am curious about what is going to happen next. The next book I read is a library book. It is You with a View by Jessica Joyce, and this one was so good. I had been, this one just kind of popped off recently. I saw a couple people on TikTok and YouTube who read it and rated it really highly, and so I was curious. It is a road trip trope, and I love a good road trip. I love it. And the best part too was their road trip was 2 places that I have been on a road trip. So I'm like, oh, I've been there, I've done that, I've seen that, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So it was so good. They went to Yellowstone, they went to Yosemite, they went to Zion. I've been to all those places. It was great. This one was so good. 5 stars for this one. Noelle's grandma passes away. This is like all in the first chapter, so it's not a spoiler. Finds pictures of her grandma and this mystery man. So she goes on TikTok and she like shows the pictures and she's like, does anybody know who this man is? Lo and behold, some anonymous person's like, hey, that's my grandpa. Why do you have pictures of him? So they kind of connect and she ends up meeting his grandpa and meeting him. And they end up, like, grandpa starts to tell her the story and they all 3 end up going on this road trip together. It's so good. There's so many good tropes in here. There's childhood, friends to enemies to lovers. There's the road trip, second chance. Yeah, it's like second chance romance with your high school rival. It's so good. I loved this book. It was 5 stars. I'm sad it's a library book because I do want to own this. And this cover is just gorgeous. Like, do you see this cover? It's beautiful. And I know Jessica Joyce is coming out with a second book later this summer. I don't think it follows the same people. I think it's completely different, but I'm so excited to read that. I love this book and I want to read everything that she writes. I believe this was her debut novel, so I'm so excited. 5 stars. So the next book I read was 20 Years Later by Charlie Donlia. This was actually the book that Jalen and Janaea gifted me, the one I unwrapped. It is a thriller. It's about a woman who is like the host of like a Dateline-esque show. She has this idea of a story that she can tell. It's about the 20-year reunion of 9/11. So she goes and she, gets all this information, and it turns out some of the information that she's gathering is about a woman, Victoria, who during 9/11 was accused of killing her married lover. This case that was closed after 9/11 happened is now reopened, and Avery is trying to solve clues. There's a detective trying to solve clues. It is dual POV between Avery and the detective who originally was assigned to Victoria's case back in 2001. This one was good. I rated this one a 3-star, I think. It was good. Like, the twist, there were 2 different storylines going on through most of it, and I got to like the end, I'm like, are we gonna wrap both of them up? Like, how is this gonna happen? And I kind of feel like it was rushed at the end. Like, we were trying to get everything in a nice, neat little package with bow, and it just kind of fell flat for me a little bit. One of the twists got me, one of them didn't, so there's that. It was good. I am glad that I was gifted this book and I did read it, and it was good. Again, 3 stars. The next book that I read was Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is the first book in the Twisted series. This one is marketed as like a dark romance, but it's not like super dark. It's just kind of twisted. It's about Alex and Ava. Alex is like an alpha male. He's very possessive. He's very broody. He's very grumpy. And Ava's like the sweet, bright sunshine. There is like a small little age gap, and it is brother's best friend. They both Ava and Alex have different traumas going on, and they're trying to work together to help each other go through their life struggles. The conflict in this was very realistic. I just feel like it lasted a long time. But anyway, this one was good. I did enjoy this. I did rate this one a 3.5 star. It was like I said, it is darker, but it was still good. I am very excited to continue the rest of the series. They're back here somewhere. We have Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies. And I've heard they get better and better and better. And if I'm already enjoying this one, I'm so excited to get to the next ones. This one, Alex does have red flags, but they work in the book. Like, they're red flags in real life, but they work in the book. And it was so good. I really enjoyed this. Again, 3.5 stars. The next book I read was another library book. It is Same Time Next Summer. And this is when the weather started getting really nice here. And I was sitting outside and I'm like, I need a short, sweet, summery book. So I picked this one up. It's less than 300 pages. It was so good. So we have our main character, Sam, and she is engaged to Jack. And they're looking at wedding venues, you know the drill. And they go off to Long Island, I think, where Sam's family has a summer house. So they're over there, they're visiting family, they're looking at wedding venues. They're only supposed to be there for a week. And lo and behold, there's the next door neighbor who Sam was best friends with when she was growing up. They always spent all their summers together. They were each other's first loves. It's, that sweet childhood romance. He's there. he's right next door, just like he always is. His name is Wyatt, by the way. And so Sam is like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What are you doing? And so they kind of start to rekindle their friendship, and so Sam has a lot to think about between Wyatt and Jack and the wedding and all of that. It was good. I rated this one a 3.5. I enjoyed this one. I kind of wanted it to be longer, honestly. Like, I got so invested in their story, and just they had family drama going on. They had wedding drama. It was good. I did enjoy this book. If you're looking for a good, easy, light summer read, like you're at the beach, you want a nice rom-com romance, this is your book. I did my reread of Beach Read by Emily Henry. This one, I love this. I read this back when it came out back in 2022, I think, the summer 2022. And I remember not enjoying it as much as People We've Been on Vacation and Beach Read. But rereading it, I'm like, this is a 5-star read. This is a 5-star book. So does that mean that all of Emily Henry's books are 5 stars? Like, can we do that? Love Charlie in this book. It's about Nora and Charlie, and they are both literary agents. And so they meet one day, they have lunch one day, and it's like he's grumpy, they're both grumpy actually. But then fast forward like a year, 2 years later, and Nora and her sister Libby go on a little sisters month-long trip to a small town in South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, and Charlie just ends up being there too. So they had Nora and Libby have their like vacation bucket list going on, and then Charlie shows up, and it's so good. Emily Henry's writing and her banter is so dang good. I love her. She is my favorite author, and she just came out with a new book. Funny story, it came out this past week, and I'm so excited to read it. I don't have it yet, but I am so excited to read it. I think I'm going to reread all of Emily Henry's books this summer. I love her so much. 5 stars. Read this one if you haven't already. If you really read any Emily Henry book if you haven't already. They're so good. And then the last book that I've read so far in April is Next Door Nemesis by Alexa Martin. This one is about, I just finished this too, I should know, Collins. And she, again, what is it with these girls losing their jobs and having to move home? But anyway, she loses her job. She has to move home to small Midwest Ohio. And being a Midwest girly, like, there was a lot. The Midwest references were on point in this book. I loved it. She moves back home, and she's helping her dad redo like their landscaping and their gardening and stuff. And up comes Nathaniel Adams. He comes up strolling along and hands her a fine from the HOA, the Homeowners Association. And she's like, excuse me, hold up, why are you giving me this fine? So she goes to the next HOA meeting and somehow ends up like running for HOA president. Not sure how that she swung that one. So now it's she and Nate who are running for HOA president, and Nate is her childhood best friend. Yep, you saw it coming. Her childhood best friend is there. So she and Nate are, bickering, bantering, trying to both run for president, trying to not talk yet talk, because something happened when they were kids, like teenagers, where Nate just up and ghosted her basically, and Collins is like, excuse me, I'm still here. But anyway, this one was good. The banter in this was good. The romance in here was good. The conflict, I saw it coming. A 3.5 star for this one. Again, it's one of those rom-com, like if you need a good beach read, a good summer read, it's a cute little rom-com, and I did enjoy it. So those are all of the books that I have read so far in April. Again, I am in the middle of 3 books right now. Like I said, I am doing the tandem read where you read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn at the same time. So I tabbed them all as you got it right. Can you see the pretty tabs? Like you read part of this, then you go to this one, then you go to this one, then you go to this one. You know the point. You know the drill. So I am 192 pages into Empire of Storms and 215 pages into Tower of Dawn. So yeah, I'm about 200 pages into both of these books. They're both like 600-page books. So I'm about, what is that, a third of the way through? So far they're going good. Again, I am so enjoying this world. I love all the characters. I love all the drama. I love, this one is a little bit slower. This one's more high stakes. This one is about Chaol and he's kind of going through his life, and this one's about Selena and her life, but they are told from like the same timeline. Like events happen in this book, events happen in this book at the same time. Again, this one is going faster just because there's more action and adventure in this one. This one's slower just because we're in a new world in this one. Not like a new world, like a new country in this one. So we're kind of getting some more world building. But they're both good. I am excited to finish these and then move on to the last one, which is Kingdom of Ash, which is like gigantic. But I'm excited to do that. So now we have the book from besties Jalen and Janae to open, and I am 99% sure I know what this book is, because if I'm correct, it is a part of a duology. And back in December when I bought books with my Christmas money, I bought the second book in this duology. When they gave me the books, they sent Isaac the list saying, like, here's the books we got Leslie, make sure she doesn't buy them. And so I'm at the bookstore doing my thing, picking out the books, picking out the book that came out like after they had wrapped all these books, and Isaac's like, no, you cannot buy that. I'm like, why not? It came out yesterday. He's like, oh, okay, you can buy it. So I'm like, I kind of know. I kind of know what this one is. It's like the same size as the other one. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I think. Do you want to know what I think it is? Should I tell you? I think it's Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So let's open it and find out. Look, isn't it so pretty? Like, they wrap these so nicely. I love it. And then I go and I unwrap it and I make a mess everywhere. It is. So this is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This, like I said, this is part of a duology. It's about Roman and Iris. And they're both newspaper writers at the same newspaper company, but they're rivals. So Iris's brother is off on this war, and so she's writing her letters on this typewriter and putting them in the wardrobe, and they're just disappearing. And then one day she gets a letter back. And so turns out, like, she has this magical typewriter who, like, there's a magic system. It was a 5-star for me. I read this last summer. It was a 5-star for me. The sequel, Ruthless Vows, was a 4-star for me, I think. That one had more politics. It was more, like, fantasy. This one was more romantasy. This romance in this book is so good. Also, this hardcover, like, first, the dust jacket is beautiful, but the hardcover has a little typewriter. And it says Dear Iris, and I love it so much. I am so excited to own this. So like I said, I read this one last summer. I read it on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure if it's still there or not, but it was a 5-star for me, and I'm so glad I finally own it. I love this book so much. If you haven't read this, read it. Those are all of the books that I read in April. Should we count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 so far. I'll probably finish. My goal is to finish the tandem read, the Throne of Glass tandem read. I'm not sure if I'll finish that in April, or either way, you'll see review and stuff in the May wrap up. But those are all the books I read in April. I, again, had a great reading month. I had, 2 5-stars and 3 5-stars, but one was a reread, and a lot of 3.5 4-star books. I'm excited. It's finally like summertime, and I can get into my summertime romances and just cute, fluffy, light books. So please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, do all that used to stuff, and I hope you keep reading because I know I will. Thank you for watching Nessie Reads.